Hello and welcome to the program Hope Alive on Procyon Radio and Television. My name is Sarah Agbo. Hope Alive is a program designed for people with disability. The program aims at giving a voice to the voiceless disability community, their struggles, challenges, and their successes. The program airs twice weekly on Monday and Friday at 1 p.m. Today on the program, we'll be looking at who is a person with disability and so many other issues surrounding the disability community. Today in the studio, I have with me Rewan Muhammad Abdullahi, National President of National Association of Persons with Disability. You are welcome, Rewan.
Thank you very much.
I also have Salisu Yahaya, Sports Secretary, Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. You're welcome, Salisu.
Thank you very much.
Here with me in the studio, I also have Steve Wire, Program Officer, Advocacy and Capacity Strengthening of Young Persons with Disability on the Inclusive Education Framework in Nigeria. You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Today on the program, like I said, we're going to look at who is a person with disability. Rewan.
Well, this question, I think, is a professional questions, more especially people that has to do with special education, but in a layman understanding. I think it's somebody that have one deformity or the other, or somebody that have a limitation that prevent him from carrying out a normal activities that a particular person supposed to carry. I think that is a simple definition. But if you maybe get to my colleague Salisu, who happened to be a special education teacher, his definition may be different from my own definition. Yes.
Okay. All right, let's hear your
definition. Good afternoon. My understanding of who is a person with disability. A person with disability is a person that have impairment that he cannot perform a lot of activities that he's supposed to do. There is categories of person with disabilities, like person that has physically challenged, like I myself here. Maybe there is a lot of things that I cannot do it by myself. I need someone to assist me to do a lot of things, like taking water to the bathroom. Maybe I need someone to help me with my wheelchair to access some building. And there are some people that their deformities is different from my own. Maybe a person with a visual impaired. That one, what they need is different from what I need. A person with visual impaired, a need person that can help him to access more building, or they need some their writing that is braille, that they can use their hand, read it, and they direct them to where they are going. And there is some that are deaf, we call them deaf, Kurma in Hausa. Those one, they need interpreters so that the interpreters will tell them what the communication between them and the other people that are saying, because they cannot hear what the other people are saying. So there is different of disabilities and different different challenges. All disabilities need their own separate help and assistance.
Okay, Sweet.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Disability, persons with disability, to my own understanding, it means someone that is physically, mentally, or intellectual impairment, which hinder them to perform as expected fully in the society. Such person, just like what my boss here said, we have different categories of disability, which we have the visually impaired, the hearing impaired, and spinal cord. We have albinism, we have intellectual disability. So we have different clusters of disability, which most people feel, when you're talking about disability, they feel it's just a single population, which it is not. It's a diverse group of people that have different challenges amongst them. So they are not just one. You can't say that once you solve a problem of one person with disability, you solve all, because there are diverse groups of persons with disability. So this is my own understanding on how or which a person with disability means.
Okay, from what you are saying now, does that mean that such people should be excluded in the community?
Well, over the years, that's what we've meant to understand, that they are not supposed to participate in the society because of their status. But with the current situation on ground, which Nigeria is also a signatory to different country. Nigeria is a signatory to a UN Convention of Right of Persons with Disability, which grants persons with disability the right to participate in everything in the society. Right to education, right to work, right to access any public buildings. So Nigeria is a signatory to that convention, and which brings about the disability law in Nigeria 2018, that Nigeria also have that law that grants the right of persons with disability in the society. So as we are talking today, coming down to Kaduna also have that same law, 2021, that also give persons with disability the right to operate in our society today. Right to education, right to public building, right to work, they have right the way other humans have right. So, but there's a little challenges. The rights are there, but the awareness is just little. People are not even aware.
Like, I'm very interested in the rights to public buildings. What are the things that you think they need in public buildings?
Yes, they need a lot of things, because like the Kaduna State law states, it says that all buildings should be remodified. In other words, for persons with disability to access those buildings without barriers. So it's either you create ramps for them to wheel their chair in, or have rail for them to, hold and move into the building, or you get elevator for them to use. Any building. And we must commend the state government for reducing the years, because ideally it was supposed to be 10 years, but now the years, just 5 years, the Kaduna State government have given everybody to remodify their structures to suit persons with disability. I've already consumed 2 years now.
So that's how far have they gone in Kaduna State?
Like I said, the challenge is there.
Is there any implementation, especially from the state government?
Yeah, I will say I will give kudos to the Disability Affairs Board and development partners, because we last 3 weeks or 4 weeks thereabout, were in Zaria about the validation of the implementation plan on the disability law, which development partners are supporting the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability and the Disability Affairs Board and other critical stakeholders to develop and implement that implementation plan on the disability law. Because if the law is there and the plan, we don't have an effective implementation plan, it's equals to zero. So there was a need for that, and the development partner came in, Site Saver came in to support the government to develop that implementation plan. So now we are just waiting. The validation has been taking place, so we are just waiting for the implementation to start.
So as it stands now, right now, is there any building specifically that you can mention to our viewers or our listeners that this Kaduna State have already completed a structure for people with disability?
Well, that's a strong question. It is a strong question, but we've seen like we're not where we used to be, and we're not where we want to be. Where we know that it's an ongoing process. There are little structures that, or should I say, there are little effort we've seen from the government, but we've not seen that much. We've seen government putting ramps for persons that have wheelchair or people that are physically challenged. But the question is, we're looking at the holistic, we're looking at the whole disability community, which under JNP you have about 7 clusters that are under that. How accessible, how are you making those buildings accessible for all the clusters? Because if you are talking about inclusion, you're not just talking about the physical disability alone.
Visually impaired.
We have visually impaired, we have different types. Exactly.
Yes.
So how inclusive is those buildings, or how accessible is those buildings for those people? And not just that, even in the schools, do you have such accessibility? Because the most significant challenge that persons with disability face is that development, and it comes through the school. And if they can access education, it means they won't have anything even when they grow up, with a lot of challenges with art. But when they are educated, they're able to speak for themselves. They're able to do so many things, not just for themselves, but they also contribute to the development of the society, because they have a lot. We believe that there's ability in disability, and they are super intelligent. They can do more than what we think of.
So, Rewan,
Yes.
did you vote for the presidential and the gubernatorial election?
Yes, of course.
How was it?
Well, it was not well done in terms of giving space for persons with disability.
Yes.
I think INEC even breached the agreement we had with them. I was one of those that engaged INEC a few weeks to the election on the issue of inclusiveness. But unfortunately, during the election, we did not see what we agreed with them.
What was your agreement?
The agreement was to make provision for braille ballot paper and magnifying glass for albino, then accessible environment for persons with physical disability. That is somebody who is on wheelchair or tricycle. Among such agreements or engagement we had with INEC, I think that of accessible environment, we will be able to record reasonable percentage, even though most of the polling units are not owned by INEC, but they try as much as they could to make sure that accessibility is there for persons on wheelchair to vote. Everything was be able to bring down to our own level. In fact, on our own part, there was no much issue. But that of the visually impaired and persons with albinism, we have a serious issue with INEC, which we promised to engage them for subsequent elections.
Yes.
We will not stop, we continue to engage them. Even though we are Nigerians, but we believe if we keep on pushing, we'll get there one day.
Our country is a great country.
Definitely.
Salisu, did you vote? I want to know how your voting went. Was it that easy for you to just go and cast your vote?
I'm not vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
I work as ad hoc staff in INEC. So
Okay.
that is why I did not vote.
Oh, so you were also given the opportunity to be the
Ad hoc staff.
okay. So you see that at least you participated.
Yes.
You participated greatly in the election process. So that's a good one. That's a very good one. So that means that there's how will I put it? There's ability in disability. So you were also like part of the normal people
Yes.
that work for INEC.
Yes.
That is it. So that's part of the things that we are struggling to get.
Yes.
I think that's where we are going. So we are going somewhere.
Yes.
And Rewan was talking about provision of facilities for the persons with disability. And then I was just thinking about it. What about transportation? Is there any arrangement for them to be able to find it easy?
To come to the following unit.
No. To be able to find it easy in terms of transportation, their movement, when they are going to somewhere, for vehicles to stop and pick them. Even those that are on wheelchair, how do you find it?
So, is it for me, ma'am?
Yeah, anyone,
Okay.
any of you can.
So, like I said earlier on, the state implementation plan on the disability law captures that. In fact, as a matter of fact, the NURT are one of the critical stakeholders in that, because the law make provision that all transport vehicles must create a seat, a space, at least one seat for persons with disability. And that seat will be empty if such person did not enter. You keep that for any persons with disability that wants to come in.
You don't come across them all the time.
It's because there's no provision for them. And I will shock you that most of those transport services, they don't have that orientation. So some of them don't even want to even carry them in their vehicles.
Yes.
You see them, they are actually stopping them, but they don't stop because they don't want to have stress on them, because there's no provision in those vehicles for them to sit down. So they don't want. And it's very, very expensive if you don't create that space, because carrying a wheelchair or a tricycle inside,
you have to pay for two.
You have to pay for two. So, and that's the reason why I say even educating persons with disability, education is expensive. A child that is a child of persons with disability and a normal child that normally comes to school, that child that is with disability spends more. If you look at their transportation, someone that comes with the school with his wheelchair and probably maybe have an aid, someone that supports them to push the wheelchair, you find out that that student is paying for 3 slots to come to school and go back. And if you look at the parent of children with disability, how is the government, is there any package or is there any palliative package for them? Because most of them, even when some of them were working, but they have at point in time, they just have to stop that work to focus on that child. Because if truly you want that child to go to school, you must leave every other thing. I've seen parents that now they can read, use braille machine because they have children that are visually impaired. They can read that because they've dropped everything and focus on that child, because they don't want that child to yes. So they want to support that. And if you want to support that child, it means you're going to leave your job. You want to leave everything and work for that child, because that child needs your assistance.
Thank you very much. We'll go on break now and then we'll be right back. you're just joining us, you're watching the program Hope Alive on Procyon Radio and Television. And you can get us on social media handle. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and we are all over the media handles. And you can get us on Procyon RTV. Procyon RTV. You can also get us on our website, www.procyonnews.com. And today on the program, I have my guest in the house, the persons with disability. And then, Rewanu, you talk about the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. What group is that?
Well, Joint National Association of Persons with Disability is a group of different category of disability that come together to advocate, engage, and speak and ask for issues relating to disability. This initiative came as a result of the different engagement by different clusters, different disability groups. The visually impaired will be speaking alone, the physically challenged will be speaking alone, spinal cord injury, and other category of disability. So in 1991 thereabout, some of our stakeholders decided to come together that the government and even the society have been ignoring our call, our call by saying we are not united, we are not together. Why can't we come together and form an umbrella body that will be speaking with one voice? But that will not deprive other disability organizations to go on with their normal activities, because the disability issues varies. Like me, as a person with physical disability, my issue is quite different from that of visually impaired. I can still be doing my engagement, asking for my need. Also, the visually impaired can still be doing that. The hearing impaired, person with albinism, the mentally retarded, that is the Down syndrome, and others. Then that initiative, we agree with that. That is where we came up with Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. And as I'm currently talking to you now, we have achieved a lot by coming together. One of the greatest achievements, we sponsor a private national disability bill, law then. It has now become an act as a result of the engagement. We sponsor it as a private bill. Today, we have Disability Act. At the same time, we have National Commission for Persons with Disability, which is headed by one of us as the Executive Secretary. This is as a result of our coming together. Like I said, it has not deprived other category of disability to still engage on their particular or peculiar needs. But when it comes of talking with one voice, we speak under the umbrella body, that is the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. Just of recent, it used to be 6 clusters, but just last year in our convention, we bring in albinism as one of the clusters. And we are still expecting more clusters to come because we have different categories of disabilities. We are even trying to make a move or an initiative where we bring in parents of people or persons with disability as one of the clusters, because they know our issue than any other person. They can speak, they can defend our issue everywhere or anywhere they find themselves. So we are still bringing them as clusters to be part of Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. So I think this is how we come up with the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability.
Talking about the program officer, what can you add to what you just said?
Well, like I say, like my oga, he's my boss. I work for him. Joint National Association of Persons with Disability, like he says, is an umbrella body that oversees or advocates for the right. Not just advocate for the right, also protect the right and well-being of persons with disability. They are the mouthpiece of all the clusters of disability. So, and is a recognized body. Government is aware of them. They are in all the 36 states and local government as well. So they have a good network from all the 36 states to the local government as well. So they are doing well in terms of coordination and all what they need support from citizens as well. Family first, because discrimination begins at family. So when family don't recognize them as special or human being or their children, it means the society or the community will not also accept them. So, and that is what the Joint National Association of Persons with Disability are also fighting for, to trying to, to create their awareness for people to accept persons with disability as their own brother, as their own neighbor, and as their own partner.
What is the strength of the group?
The
strength of the group in terms of government inclusion. If today we wake up and say, okay, we have an association for persons with disability in the 36 states, like you said, how strong do you think is this group? And if we just wake up and say, we are giving you a chance, bring a candidate to stand as the president.
Well, Jonapit is non-partisan, non-political, non-profit.
Okay.
But yes, the strength is that as a group championing for inclusion, I think it's as simple as ABCD. We can hide under the platform of our own umbrella body to say that the issue of inclusion we are talking, if one of us is not being elected as maybe president or governor, it will be very difficult for us to get there. You understand me? So we can rally around, but not politically, openly, that maybe we are registering or appearing as one of the political parties or identifying with any of the political parties. No, it's against the ethics of Jonapit. But that has not deprived us from voting or participating individually. If today Salisu want to contest as governor of Kaduna State, yes, Jonapit can come out to say, okay, this is one of us. And the issue of inclusion we are talking, if we don't have policy makers, if we don't have people in government, we will not get there. So let's rally around, support Salisu so that we get what we want for being him the governor of Kaduna State. That is what we are doing. And by so doing, we have got some of our members. Currently, we have one in Zamfara State House of Assembly, a person with physical disability. Just last 4 years, we have one in Jigawa State of Assembly. There are so many. Even the last election, we have many of us that come out to aspire as senators, some as House of Representatives. I think there's one that even come out to aspire as president. Yes, in this country, he's on wheelchair. It's my very good friend, Chiki. He aspires under Action Democratic Congress. So we are just beginning, and I'm sure maybe by in 4 years to come, I'm assuring Nigerians that with the strength and population of persons with disability, will definitely come out with one of us as president of this country.
Wow, I like that. That's good. Everyone, it's like you are very happy about that.
No, I'm very happy. I'm excited because it's part of what we've been advocating for them to have that opportunity. Because over the years, this is a population that has been excluded around governance. Persons with disability have not been included around governance. But with what we are seeing today, and we've seen champions coming out from different clusters of disability advocating for that inclusion, we know that yes, we are going somewhere. And we believe that they will do better if given opportunity. And all we need to say is just to create that awareness, give them orientation, because even amongst them, they need to understand that yes, some of our members have the capacity to rule this country, to be a leader. If we don't orientate, if we don't give them that orientation, that coordination will not be there. Just like we've seen in other key population, coming together is the problem. And we believe that if with the little advocacy we are we are doing, and the orientation we are doing around communities, engaging different clusters. We believe that they will do that. Recently in Kaduna State, I think one of the party, there's a deputy governor that was persons with disabilities as a deputy governor.
Okay.
So for us, we believe that yes, that is work in progress for him to even accept persons with disability as a running mate.
Yes.
It means we are going somewhere.
Yes.
And so I finally, what do you want the government to do for you in particular?
The government of Kaduna State
No,
or
national. National. What do you want the government to do for you in the area of inclusion in the society, so that you will also, like you said, that there are things that you cannot do and you need assistance, you understand, from different persons, like from your parents, from friends, and from other people around you. So, like, what do you want the government to do for persons with disability, especially even as an association as a whole?
Well, before now, we were advocating for Disability Act, which the content is very much, it's very enormous, because if we go by the content, I don't think persons with disability in Nigeria will have much problem. But unfortunately, we are Nigerians. We are very good in coming up with laws, but when it comes to implementation, it's another thing. To me, as a leader, as one of the leader of disability community in Nigeria today, what I expect the government to do more is just the implementation of that Disability Act. Because if the government will be in the forefront to make sure that the law is being properly implemented, I think virtually the problem of persons with disability in Nigeria will be solved maybe at most 80 to 90%. You know, as a human being, you cannot satisfy everyone. But I am very optimistic that if that law will be properly implemented, virtually our problem will be solved to the level that every Nigerian with disability will be smiling.
Like he said, we need that implementation of the
Disability law.
disability law.
It's like Salus is hearing this as it. Yes, it's been took up with this avenue.
I think, Steve, you have the last thing.
All right. For me, I still go with them. I know that in Nigeria, our problem is always implementation. We have beautiful laws, but the problem is the implementation.
Okay.
We believe that if we have an effective implementation of this law, the issues of persons with disability will be dead gone. And aside that, I also want the Nigerian government to look at the inclusive education as one of the key things for persons with disability, because that is the foundation of every child. And if they are not taken to schools, if from that level you exclude them from other set of people, you are not practicing inclusion then. So we want inclusion at that level of that child development, and it starts from school. Let's have inclusive education in Nigeria that accommodate both the persons with disability and non-children with disability to learn in the same environment without barriers. We believe that will solve so many problems, because we have problem of discrimination today because the other child that is not disabled doesn't understand the power persons with disability or that child with disability have. They always believe that anything that comes to disability is a charity work. So even when they are in school, you find out that most students feel they can't perform. Maybe the lecturers are just giving them free marks because of their situation. And it's not like that. They are super intelligent. So but when they sit in the same class, they will now understand that yes, they are sitting with people that are also intelligent. So they will not be looking at their physical disability, but they will be looking at how sound their mind is. So I believe having an inclusive education will go a long way to eliminate most of the barriers we have today as persons with disability encounter in the society.
All right, thank you, Steve Wire, Program Officer, Advocacy and Capacity Strengthening of Young Persons with Disability on Inclusion Education Framework in Nigeria. Thank you for coming to the studio as we round up the program. And I also want to appreciate Salisu Yahaya, Sports Secretary, Joint National Association of Persons with Disability. You're welcome. And I want to say, Rewan, thank you for coming to the studio. He is Rewan Muhammad Abdullahi, National President of National Association of Persons with Disability. With this, we come to the end of the program. My name is Sarah Abba. Do join us same time next week.